Department of Public Instruction Media Conference. We'll be talking about CTE attainment and really a lot of exciting news here and a lot of great folks in the room you'll be hearing from today. We will start off from hearing from our superintendent, Maurice Mo Green. Sir.
Well, good afternoon.
CTE.
My name is Maurice Green. I do go by Mo, and I'm honored to be the North Carolina Superintendent of Public Instruction. I'm excited to share some remarkable news about career and technical education in our state this afternoon. This news actually comes on the heels of recent announcements of historic results for the 24-25 school year for North Carolina Public Schools. Just to remind you, several months ago, we announced the four-year cohort graduation rate being the highest in North Carolina's history for the 24-25 school year. And then second, more recently, we announced the advanced placement exam results. And just as a reminder, advanced placement includes college-level courses and exams for high school students, or exams taken by high school students. North Carolina had the highest levels of participation and performance on advanced placement exams in the 24-25 school year. And our performance was actually above the national average. And so now we're going to complete the trifecta, if you will, with career and technical education courses. I am pleased to share that North Carolina CTE students earned a record 382,964 industry-recognized credentials during the 24-25 school year. That's the highest total in the state's history and a 6.9% increase over last year. Our statewide attainment rate reached 59%, up from 53% the previous years. That means that students are earning nearly 6 out of every 10 credentials available to them through their career and technical education coursework. 74.5% of our career and technical education completers, graduates, these would be students who take 2 to 3 courses in a career pathway of study, earned an industry recognized credential in their pathway. So these students are not only graduating with diplomas, but with credentials that employers value. Today, then, what you'll hear from is a number of folks. You'll hear from our state CTE leaders who will walk you through some data. You'll also hear from local district leaders whose schools are achieving exceptional results. You'll also hear from a couple of our amazing students about their experiences with career and technical education. And I want to put this in additional context, if you will, because some of the results that we've talked about, particularly the credentials earned, are part of our effort to get to being recognized as having the very best public education system in the entire country by 2030. Indeed, if you look at the percentage of participation in career and technical education, we're already second in the nation. So here we come. Historic results in a number of different areas. And now I'll turn it over to Dr. Nancy Cross, who's our Assistant Director for Career and Technical Education Reporting and Support Services. She oversees data systems that track the credential attainment across our state and works with districts to improve their results. I'll turn it over to her to tell us what our numbers show. Dr. Cross.
Good afternoon, and thank you. You heard our big reveal was our total attainment for this year of 382,964 individual credentials. And I'll break that down just a little bit. We offer credentials that are tiered by our Department of Commerce, and we have 3 tiers of credentials. And to give a little bit of reference, frame of reference for those, Tier 1 credentials are considered foundational credentials, things like first aid and Microsoft Office, Word, and PowerPoint. credentials and then a large number of tier 1 credentials are attached to our career management course, and those are our Conover workplace readiness credentials that students earn as a way to demonstrate to potential employers that they are indeed ready with what sometimes employers and industry call soft skills. We call durable skills or professional skills. And that's what Conover measures. So those are tier 1 credentials. Tier 2 credentials move up a little bit, and we often refer to them as door opener. These credentials are sometimes required for a job, but always recommended for a job, and sometimes attached to higher earnings for students as well. The bulk of our tier 2 credentials are attached to our industry related to construction, welding, plumbing, HVAC. Those are offered to us through a vendor called NCCER, the National Council for Construction Education and Research. And those credentials are tiered at 2 for us, tier 2 credentials. And then lastly, we have tier 3 credentials, which are both the smallest number available to our students, but also the most academically rigorous, the most time intensive credentials, and the highest valued by our industry and business partners. Credentials that are usually a requirement for a job and always attached to higher earnings for students, and often align in the fields of computer science. So like our CompTIA credentials would be a great example of tier 3 credentials that our students earn. So we're very excited that not only our attainment number continues to increase, but also the attainment rate. That's a measurement we started talking about just about 3 or 4 years ago, and it became important to us to not just look at a number of individual credentials earned, but rather how many were available and what percentage of those were actually converted to an earned credential for a student. And so when we started that conversation with the 2021 data, only 21% of the available credentials to our students were converted to earned credentials. But this year, that number is 59%. So we're right there at the 60% mark and working to continue to increase that and have districts earning as high as 89% of their credential potential. And so we continue to focus not only on the overall number, but also on the percentage of credentials that students have available and then convert to what we call labor market currency for them and tuck those away in their credential wallet. Very excited about that. And I'm excited to now bring up my Senior Director for Career and Technical Education, Trey Michael, to elaborate some more. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cross, and thank you all for being here. We appreciate your time this afternoon. I'm proud to serve as your Senior Director for CTE. I'm Trey Michael. Been in this role for almost 8 years and find it a pleasure every single day to work on behalf of our students in our public schools. 382,964 credentials earned. What an amazing number. Up 6.9% year over year. Outstanding work by our students. Each one of those credentials represents a child that has had an opportunity to earn skill, to earn knowledge, and ultimately have some affirmation that they can do things that real world professionals can do every single day. And those are really important things for our local school students. 70,182 of those credentials align directly to the NC workforce credentials, which is tied to My Future NC's goal of 2 million by 2030. Amazing numbers. So why does this matter? Why does this matter? Industry recognized credentials give students a competitive advantage. It prepares them for a career, prepares them for a lifelong journey, and many, many great things to come. It also helps our employers. If you think about it, each credential that a child earns means that that's less time a business or an employer has to invest into that child. They can get them to the workforce faster, get them to the line faster, and get productivity out of them much more rapidly. Lastly, CTE concentrators, those taking 2 or 3 courses in a pathway and completing that pathway, graduated this past year at a rate of 98.57%, an amazing number. We're not done with that number yet. We're looking forward to breaking 99 pretty soon. That's a challenge we're taking personally, and we're looking forward to accomplishing that. We have two rules that we kind of operate with, and I mentioned this in the board meeting. Rule number one, students always first. Caleb, we make that promise to you. John, we make that promise to you online. Students always first. Every single decision must consider the student first. And number two, commitment is key. I'm excited today that we get to hear from some of our amazing committed leaders in just a few minutes. With that, I'd like to thank you again and welcome up Dr. Stephen Gainey from Randolph County School System.
So the question would be, I would think a good question would be, how did the Randolph County School System get to where we are with our CTE program? And I would say one thing is relationships between our staff, our students, our business industry partners. And the other thing I'd say is dreamers. Dreamers got us here, from staff dreaming about what kids could do, business partners, industry partners dreaming what kids could do, and also kids dreaming about what they could do. Also, we have been fortunate in the Randolph County School System because we have a Board of Education that backs our efforts to dream and expand where we can with the resources we have. So we appreciate their support as well. But when I also think about where we are and what has happened in the Randolph County School System, I think of this thing we call the Workforce Roadmap. And it came about several years ago. Our director of CTE, David Cross, and coordinator, Stephanie Adams, developed this, and we brought it in, showed it to the board. And what was interesting about that Workforce Roadmap was it didn't start in 8th grade where the career development plan is required, or maybe pushed off into the 9th grade where people think things really are starting to pick up. It started in 5th grade. And we started exposing our 5th graders throughout our school system to careers. And we used Junior Achievement as a partner to help us. And then we took our 5th graders on tours to the high schools that they would attend one day, and they got to see their pathways they could be involved in, opportunities to earn credentials. And it just went from there. 6th grade, we started working with career development coordinators that we added to middle school, 2 of them, which our board supported. We have the career development coordinators at the high school level, but we added 2 at the middle school level. And that's a wonderful position in the public schools at the high school level. Now we've seen it be great at the middle school level. Those career development coordinators did intentional work with our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. 6th graders explored ideas with careers. 7th graders researched and set goals about careers. And 8th graders did a career research project that they later presented to their parent or to a staff member. And that led us into the career development plan at the end of 8th grade. And here we go into high school. It's a wonderful place of career technical education, but it had already been there in 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th before they got to high school. So our kids went looking for it. And I'm just very proud of what's happened. We have student success teams that are made up of counselors, other staff, career coaches from the community college, of which Randolph Community College is a great partner of ours, and they've helped us a great deal, and also the career development coordinators on those teams. And kids annually review their career development plan with a member of the student success team. So we've worked on industry tours, we've provided career fairs, we've provided college tours and student organizations with CTE, but equally there at the end, we do this thing called internships and apprenticeships. Internships, we have Randolph Ready internship program, and Work Ready Randolph, that's internship program. We have 49 kids in year 1 taking advantage of that this year. And then Apprenticeship Randolph started in 16, 17. And we have 19 community partners, business partners who in many ways act like when I see them at Chick-fil-A, they act like they're part of our staff. And quite frankly, they are, because they helped us do what we're supposed to be doing in school systems, get kids to the next step. Leave us with one of 3 things: an industry recognized credential, a work-based experience, learning experience, or something at the college level, whether it be a certificate, a diploma, or a degree. That's our goal. and I'm very proud of our kids. I want to ask David Cross to come up just a second, see if I've missed anything. He and Stephanie Adams are the dreamers of our program, and the beauty of it is they've got the relationship with the kids and with the people at school level. And I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize him. He's Director of Career Technical Education. David, is there anything else you want to add before we bring up a superstar? You are a superstar too, but.
Well, I appreciate that. And it's hard to follow Dr. Gay. And also, I appreciate all the support from our DPI staff, our Board of Education, Dr. Gainey, our superintendent. I give a lot of credit to our students and our teachers. I mean, they are the ones credentialed. They're the ones in the field doing excellent work. They have the work ethic to get it done, and they have high expectations of themselves and for each other. So I have a great team. Got to recognize Stephanie Adams. I call her my co-director. Would not be up here without her, and our CTE leadership team, which consists of our 9 CDCs. So great, powerful team. Appreciate the work that's being done in our school system. And really, it's like he said, it's based on relationships. Our school principals play they're an impact on that. Our school counselors, our teachers, like it truly is a group effort. And again, we appreciate all the support from the DPI level, board level, state level. So again, a lot of people doing great work to get kids accomplished. So we appreciate that.
Now it's my pleasure. We have many examples we could have brought today, but no one is more passionate about, there are other kids that's passionate, but no one's more passionate about the CTE program in the Randolph County School System than Caleb Ward, who's a senior at Providence Grove High School. So as I mentioned earlier this morning, that high school principal experience was wonderful, watching kids make that transition. And Caleb's one of those. I probably read to his elementary class at some point. He's shaking his head at Grace Chapel, and now here is a senior. We've made the full elementary, middle, and high. So Caleb, if you come up and share your comments.
Good afternoon, everyone. Like Dr. Gainey said, I'm a senior at Providence Grove High School this year, and I'm honored to share a little bit about what CTE classes have done and the impact they've made in my life. I went into high school, knowing the opportunities that were at Providence Grove. My brother was very involved in the masonry and carpentry CTE classes, and so I took those. My freshman and sophomore year, took some of those and took a lot of the base ag, animal science 1, horticulture 1 classes. But as I kind of went towards the end of my sophomore and into my junior and senior year, I kind of developed more of a passion for agriculture. And one of my former teachers convinced me to join the FFA's Farm Business Management Competition, which is one of their CDEs, not CTE, CDE. And those are just competitions held at the state level to focus on certain aspects of the ag industry. And so farm business management in particular focuses on the financial side of agriculture, focusing on balance statements, income sheets. And so it's about a 3-hour test held at the University of Mount Olive that we complete. And in 2024, we placed second. We lost by 1 point. I was third in the state. But then the next year we came back and we won, and we were able to compete at nationals in October this year. And so as I was a part of that process, that teacher also pushed me to join a program that's pretty specialized to Providence Grove, and it's called the Ag Academy, and we're able to take classes through the University of Mount Olive at Providence Grove and through Randolph Community College. And so we are able to earn college credits and gain experience. And so I learned a lot of agriculture lessons and skills through those classes, as that's what that's mainly focused on. But I also learned very good professional skills such as public speaking, writing, essays, all that type stuff. And so what I'm trying to get at here is just the opportunities that CTE classes brings about, and how no matter who you are, where you're at, if you just find something that's passionate, that you have a passion for, and just continue to go with that CTE route down that road, it'll bring about opportunities for all students. And so, yeah, CTE classes have done a lot for me, provided me with a lot of opportunities. So I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Brad Breedlove. I'm the superintendent of Pender County Schools, and it's an honor to be here. With me here in person is Dominique Bates, our CTE director in Pender, as well as I have a student online. His name's John Brumley, who is going to talk to us about his experience at Pender County Schools with CTE and credentialing and that sort of work. And John sits on my superintendent student advisory council, and he's just a great student, outgoing, all of those things. So I really look forward to hearing from him to speak. But I'm going to start off by first saying that, and this is something I said in the board meeting, was that recently North Carolina was named the #1 state in the nation when it comes to workforce development by Site Selection magazine. And while the public education system may not be the only factor in that, we are a very large factor in that. And that starts at the top. That starts with visioning of where we want to go as a state. You know, as a superintendent, we look to those at the state level, from Superintendent Green to our state board. And then as a superintendent, I represent my board and the direction that we want to go. We just built our strategic plan 2 years ago. And in that, we built in CTE and credentialing into that as a goal to reach by 2030, where all students receive a CTE credential, college and/or college credit, that sort of thing. And we heard Dr. Williamson upstairs talk about, you know, when we talk about college ready or career ready, it's no longer the or, right? It's all of our students are college and career ready because they are blended together. And I think that's really sets the tone of what we are trying to do in Pender County Schools. You know, last year, we were on the top 10 in both categories. And I'm wondering, Dominique Bates, you know, why aren't we on both categories of the top 10 again this year? But hey, we finished #2 this year when it comes to credential attainment, 88.28%. So that means out of roughly 8,400 possible credentials, our students earn 7,400 of them. And that is fantastic. And certainly as a superintendent, I want to say that that number, behind that number are just tremendous educators who have bought into what we're doing in our career and technical education and across our system, in our math classrooms, our science classrooms, because, you know, embedded in all of this is the career development plans, in which 100% of our students last year had a career development plan exiting 8th grade. And we are continuing that because that is a goal from the state, and that is something that we're very proud as a school system to achieve. And with that said, I'll end it with this, and I said this upstairs, is that, you know, if I've seen further, it's because I've stood on the shoulders of giants. And that was written by Isaac Newton back in the 1700s, and it still applies today, and it certainly applies to my job as a superintendent, because I stand on the shoulders of giants each and every day. And one of those giants is here to speak and is going to give just a couple of details about some of the things that might make Pender County Schools different than everybody else, and some of the things that we're doing that makes us unique. So at this time, I'm going to introduce our CTE director, Dominique Bates.
Thank you, Dr. Breedlove. Such an honor to be here to speak about credentials. I get to be the CTE director for Pender County Schools, and it's such an honor. We wouldn't be here if we didn't have teachers and students who are committed to the commitment. That means they're doubled down on their commitment to be successful. And this is not about numbers. I haven't given any. It's not about being on the top 10 list. I haven't given any credentials at all. I haven't earned any credentials at all. This is all about student impact. It's all about changing students' lives. And so that is our mindset in Pender County Schools. It's aligned with our state strategic plan. Our local plan is to ensure that our students are enrolled, enlisted, or employed upon graduation. They have to have a plan before they graduate, and not after they graduate, try to figure that out. So we want to save them some time and some money. But some of the things that we do, first and foremost, we align our course offerings with our local workforce demands. And then we try to ensure that we're offering courses where students can earn credentials. And then we set goals. We set goals at the beginning of the year with our entire CTE department. This school year, our goal is to have 90% credential attainment, right? Again, it's not a number, but that number is just a byproduct of the hard work and the mindset shift of positive student impacts that we're trying to achieve, all right? And so we set these goals at the beginning of the year, and then we meet with each teacher, each CTE teacher at the beginning of the fall semester and the spring semester. And we talk about the goals and we give them a tracker. So as the students are earning these goals, they're tracking them and they're checking them off, and they can see the percentage increasing as they're checking it off. And the most beautiful thing about it is our teachers are printing out certificates and giving our students, they're framing them and taking pictures of them, and we're posting them on social media. And so now our students are proud and they can't wait to earn those credentials, which is setting them up for success. And then we have a program called Crushing Credentials. With Crushing Credentials, we bring in our students who did not earn the credentials. They didn't meet the mark, but we bring them back in and we remediate those students so that they can earn those credentials. And so those are some of our processes that we have in place to ensure that our students are earning the credentials so that they can be set up for success in the global workforce. Last but not least, we recognize our teachers. We incentivize them with certificates at the beginning of the year meeting if they are 75% or higher with the credential attainment. If they're 100%, then we give them 100 grand chocolate bar, not 100 grand in currency, but we give them 100 grand chocolate bar. Now I want to turn it over to John Brumley. He's one of our student leaders in CTE, and I'll let him talk about the impact that CTE has had on him and some of the experiences that he's had.
Thank you, Mr. Bates. As they just say who I was, John Brumley. I am in 11th grade at Heidi Trask High School. I represent Pender County. I believe we are second in the state for credential attainment rate, so let's keep that up. Before I get into the story, I do want to thank everyone that's allowing me to speak today. This is a great opportunity, and I'm really glad that I get to share my experience with all of y'all. So, piggybacking a little bit off of what Mr. Bates said, I want to reference that my story is definitely going to it's definitely going to have a positive impact in it from the CTE courses. When he stated that, that was definitely a major impact for me. When I first entered CTE, I didn't have a lot of confidence. I entered the Health Science 1 class during my freshman year. It was definitely, the environment and the atmosphere was a lot different than what I was used to experiencing in elementary and middle coming into high school. I will say Health Science 1 was definitely a rocky road. It was a little bit challenging getting to get my time management skills in check, being able to make sure that I stay focused and on task. Everything like that it was a little difficult, but once I got through it and got into Health Science 2, that was definitely the turning point for me. Health Science 2, I really want to point out the fact that it's so hands-on. The way that the coursework in the class was designed is so hands-on, which I feel like for me and many other of my peers was an amazing way to learn. We got to actually practice what we were reading out of the textbooks, and I think that that helps us have a better grasp on what we're actually trying to do. And in the healthcare field, you definitely need to have a grasp on what you're trying to do, like taking blood pressures or being a first responder or learning how to stop the bleed, which could, potentially save a life. And that's what was super exciting to me about these classes. Currently, I am halfway through my medical assisting class, which is it's thankfully an opportunity that I'm able to take because of CTE at my high school, and in the end I will have my medical assisting license and hopefully start my or put a foot into the door into healthcare. I do want to also piggyback on a phrase, a CTE concentrator. I heard it earlier. I am proud to be a CTE concentrator. I want to expand on that a little bit as far as like the opportunities that being a CTE concentrator has allowed me. It's let me be able to attend the CTE events with my peers. It's been able to let me go to like the middle schools and even the other schools and be able to teach, some of the credentials or certifications that I have personally, like my CPR or first aid or how to put on PPE properly. Um, I think that it's very much amazing that CTE allows us to do all that type of stuff because it really, for the younger students, it definitely helps them, decide what they might want to do in life and have a grasp on everything. Through these experiences, I've been able to help spread the awareness of CTE programs that my school offers. There's a lot, and I think that going back to what Mr. Caleb Ward said, CTE is definitely an amazing opportunity and offers a lot of broad spectrum opportunities that I think that everybody should take. I think that it would be very beneficial. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is April Thompson, and I'm the Senior Director for CTE, Student Services and Special Programs with Lexington City Schools. Thank you for allowing us to tell our story. In Lexington Senior High School, we had a tremendous amount of growth and credential attainment over the last year. I'd like to thank two people that are here, along with all of our teachers. We have Mr. Nathan Tonjol, our CMIC, and we have Miss Liz Cross. Without their help, we couldn't get to where we needed to be. We really focused in on using our data. That was the key piece. We worked on making sure our teachers had the professional development they needed so they could expand their opportunities within the classroom and definitely help our students. Our credential attainment wouldn't be possible without our students. We worked incredibly hard with our students in the classroom and outside of the classroom to make sure they were prepared for their assessments and the opportunities they had coming forward. We also expanded opportunities for guest speakers and field experiences for our students. We wanted to make sure that they could connect the learning in the classroom with a real career in the workforce. We're working to expand our opportunities at our community college with Davidson Davie Community College and pre-apprenticeships and apprenticeships here in Lexington. I am incredibly proud of our teachers, our students, and our community for what they've done to support us in the credential attainment we've achieved last year. We had over a 300% increase. So that speaks volumes to the work that our team was ready to put in to ensure that we had making the growth that our kids actually deserve. So with that, I have Dr. Porter, our high school principal, here today to share his insights.
Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Jermaine Porter. I'm the proud principal of Lexington Senior High School. At Lexington Senior High School, we were able to make the growth in a jump of 300% in 1 year because of intentionality. At Lexington Senior High School, if you know anything about Lexington, we're a very diverse group of students, and you don't know what you don't know. And in order for you to move, you must know where you're starting from. So we had the understanding that we had to expose our students to the opportunities and the different credentials that are available to them. Not only those that are traditional, but non-traditional students. Students for females, hey, you can go and do carpentry, even though that's not what you've seen. It's about exposing the students and making them aware. And once we were able to do that and also ensure that we're educating not only our students, but our parents, these numbers stand with our CDC and all of the teachers of Lexington Senior High Schools and the wonderful students that we have. It was stated earlier, these are not our numbers. They belong to the students. And at Lexington Senior High School, our students win the day.
So you've been able to hear from our career and technical education leaders at the state level. You're able to hear from district and school leaders and also from our amazing students as well. The message is clear. North Carolina is preparing students for high-demand careers like never before. At this point, I'll open it up for any questions that folks may have related to what we've been presenting on career and technical education. Yes, ma'am. And if you don't mind, just state who you are and your
Okay.
organization.
Emily Walkenhorst with WRAL. Just for clarity, how many students earned those 382,000 credentials?
Great. So I'm going to turn it over to either Nancy Cross or Trey Michael for the answer to that question.
So we know that we have over,
Does she need to come up
oh.
to the, you need to come up here.
we know that we have over 550,000 students taking CTE classes, and some of those students are taking more than one, so we have over 900,000 enrollments. And I don't have the number today, but can get to you exactly how many students earned the 382,000 credentials we're talking about now.
Okay, I have a second question, if that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
What are the biggest growth areas? I mean, what do students and companies say they really want students to be learning?
So we have a great demand for our NCCER credentials that are aligned to our construction industry classes. And then certainly healthcare is a prominent credential. We've done a lot of work in that pathway. And just 2 years ago, our attainment rate along the healthcare pathway of all the credentials that are available to students to stack was about 23%. And this year we were at 79%. So those are first aid, OSHA healthcare, BLS provider training, nursing fundamentals, which leads to the certified nurse aid 1 credential, and then pharmacy tech. So certainly a great demand for healthcare industry related credentials.
Thank you. Next question. Yes.
I understand that some districts are affected by a teacher shortage because substitute teachers are not permitted to administer.
Great. So with that one, I'd look to either Trey Michael or Dr. Nancy Cross again.
So a lot of our credentials are offered through third-party vendors, and in some cases there are restrictions about who can deliver the content related to the curriculum or actually administer the test, but there are many, many credentials that don't have such requirements. So that question would the answer to that would depend on the particular course. Certainly something that is as specialized as the Certified Nurse Aid 1 credential does require a registered nurse to teach the curriculum, and then a trained person to administer that credential exam. There's a performance piece and a written piece. So that requirement varies from credential to credential. We work with our districts to make arrangements in cases where a certified teacher isn't available. For example, in Guilford County, we partnered with our community college and brought in community college instructors to pick up some of our nursing fundamentals classes when we didn't have a registered nurse available to teach those courses. So districts work to navigate those vacancies as they occur.
And that question is one in which I think it's important to maybe provide additional sort of context, because we do sit in a place where we need to be revering our public school educators. There's no question about that. I certainly try to articulate that every chance that I get. At the same time, we also need to recognize that we need to compensate our educators appropriately so that we can recruit and retain wonderful educators. And so even as we celebrate all of the great things that we have, we also have to recognize that we're doing this on shoestring budgets in many ways. And we are calling on educators to do even more than they should have to be called upon to do. And so that question to me is one that speaks to the need for us to, while celebrate, also recognize that there are opportunities for us to better fund our programs and better compensate our educators so that more will join us and be willing to stay in all areas, including career and technical education. Next question.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, AP Dillon, North State Journal. Thank you for taking my question. In terms of these credentials, are these going to eventually show up as their own part of a student's official transcript so that it's readily apparent to the colleges they're applying to?
Great. Once again, we'll turn it over to Dr. Cross.
Thank you so much. That's a great question. So we talk a lot to students about building their credential wallet and the importance of having access to those credentials and the documentation that supports it. However, the credential doesn't belong to us at DPI, and so we don't put that data on a student's transcript. We do give them the skill sets and have great CDCs who work with students to help them find ways to connect those to college applications, job applications, and certainly present those as validation of skills and knowledge that they have attained along the way.
Next question. So I don't see anyone else with any additional questions. So as we wrap up this afternoon's press conference, I again just want to certainly again thank all of the folks who were speakers this afternoon. You did a remarkable job of sharing this great news. Each one of these 382,964 credentials represents a student who is better prepared for the future. Also appreciate, as I shared earlier, that CTE credential attainment is one of our key measures in achieving educational excellence. The strategic plan for North Carolina's public schools, that includes the goal of North Carolina having the very best public education system in the entire country by 2030. Our goal is to reach 500,000 credentials earned annually by 2030. So, team, and those listening across the state, while we celebrate, we know there's more work to be done. It's good to be on track, however. I'm going to now turn this press conference in a moment to the ability to open it up for any of the media who may have questions about anything else that you'd like to explore with me for the next couple of minutes or so. So I'll see if anyone else has any questions about any other matter beyond what we've shared so far. All right. Very good. I don't see any additional questions at this point, and so I'll turn it over to Mark DeSauer, our Chief Communications Officer, to close us out.
Thank you, Superintendent Green. Thank you all for being here. I especially appreciate the folks that made their way here, shared their stories, and all of the great news. Thank you for the over 75 people that were online participating, media for covering this, and particularly the students. Caleb and John, thank you for taking the time to share your experience. That's why we're here. If there are any additional questions and follow-up, media, please let us know. Talk to communications at dpi.nc.gov, and we can set up one-on-one interviews. We'll have a copy of the report online as well as a recording of this for you to use. Thanks again. Take care.